Hello and welcome to the Toyota AFL Dream Team Show. I'm your host Nat Edwards, and once again I'm joined by the one and only Adam McNichol, looking very snazzy in a Gold Coast Suns Guernsey tonight.
Yes, Nat, look at that. It's a big week for the Suns and we're on board. You have got your scarf. It's quite a fine piece of attire, that, I must admit.
Isn't it?
It is a bit classy,
too classy
especially
for
the Gold Coast.
I know.
But we've got to be friendly to the Gold Coast and we've got to get the jumper on, and we're very proudly here this week.
Very nice. Now, round one, of course, is over and done with. Dream Team, how did you fare?
I fared all right, actually. I had Dane Swan as my captain, which was a bit of a masterstroke, and I get the feeling I might have played a couple of the lower ranking teams in the two leagues I'm in. So, like Hurdy, it's only round one, I'm saying. Keep a lid on.
Keeping a lid on it. Well, speaking of Dane Swan, he did rank in the top 5 Dream Team players of the round. Bryce Gibbs, of course, tops them all with 147 points. Very nice work there.
That was, and Big Dean Cox, a lot of people didn't have him in their team, but he got 142. He's back in form. Stanton there, 138. Swanee, of course, and Joe Watson, 135. So some good scores there.
Very good scores. Now, I don't know about you, but my forward line was an absolute flop this week, and I'm pretty sure most coaches were feeling the same. Andy Cracker top scored for me with 96, but let's take a look at the underperforming forwards here. Barry Hall, 24, and he does not look happy there.
He doesn't, big bustler. No, it was a bit of a drama for the forwards this weekend. You see McKinley, Hawkins, Gamble, White, all low scores there in the 30s and 40s. Nahas did play in the midfield and actually played all right, but only 51 points. And Hurley, Jurra, Harvey, Roughhead, all down there. So some dramas for the Dream Teamers out there in terms of trying to get a high-scoring forward line together.
I know, and even tougher with the news, of course, that Jonathan Brown and Mark Lacroix are both out with 8 to 10 week injuries. So if you are looking for a straight swap, you might want to consider Cyril Rioli or Ryan O'Keefe, who were absolutely outstanding forwards on the weekend. So that could be one to look at. Now, of course, as you can see with our beautiful attire, that the Suns are making their grand debut this Saturday night against the Blues. And Dr. Dream Team, of course, is all over the Suns players. So here he is with a few tips.
After an encouraging start to the year in the opening round, it comes down to one question in round 2. Is gold necessarily good? And by that, of course I speak in terms of the Suns players, who we all had sitting on the bench last week, but who will now be available for selection. But here's the quandary. Will they actually add more to your side than the players you had in your best 22 last week? Can David Swallow score more than Dyson Heppell did? Can Dion Prestia take over Cam Richardson's role in attack? How many Suns players should I have on the ground and which ones should be emergencies? All are valid questions. My opinion is to pretty closely stick to what went well for you last week and change it only if you had some really weak points. So that means keeping Heppell in, keep Kerner and Richardson and Lower and Libber in your side, but maybe try and nestle in Swallow while making Daniel Harris an emergency. We'll all have a much clearer idea of the strength of our squads after this week when every side is played. Until then, enjoy yourself while I keep living the dream. Good luck.
Very interesting from the doc there. Swallow as an emergency.
Well, it's a big call from the doc, but he does like Dyson Heppell, let me tell you.
He's got a giant man crush on him. It's ridiculous. Now, of course, the Dream Team coach's assistant, I don't know how they work these things out, but they've managed to come up with the top 5 Gold Coast projected scores for round 2. And of course, you can find that at dreamteam.afl.com.au. Gary Ablett, look at that, comes in for his first game as skipper, projected score 108.
Yes, well, to be honest, there are just sheets and scraps of data just lying all over the floor in the projector headquarters where they come up with this stuff, but there's been computers whirring away all day and they've spat out that. They've also spat out Jared Brennan for 108, Riscatelli, Harbrow, Bock, of course, all the uncontracted players there at the Gold Coast, expecting some big scores from them. Yep. So the predictor, of course, can't take into account the young blokes. They haven't played before, so it's just going on a lot of prior form there. And it thinks stick with Gary Ablett, although a lot of people are saying otherwise.
Well, only 17% of coaches actually have Gary Ablett in their side. Could be an upgrade for round 10, I believe. Now, of course, the most important issue of the week, you know, going into Dream Team is choosing your captain. It's a very important job. Obviously, you had Dane Swan as your captain and he's mine every week. But look at this. These are some more projected scores thanks to the assistant coach. on the Dream Team website. Colin Sylvia, 135. Amazing.
Yes, so this is very, very interesting. This is the sort of gold you can get out of the Dream Team website. Dom Cassisi predicted score of 125. Last week, interestingly enough, they predicted Buddy to within 1 point.
Wow.
He's the old projector, so it's pretty damn good. Brendan Goddard, you'd expect him to get about 180 against the Tigers.
Just a little stat on Brendan Goddard. The last 3 times he's played the Tigers, scored over 128. So could be a good pick this week for captain. And I know he's in my team, so we'll have a look at that. Now, this is our favourite part of the show, sack or back. Who are you sacking or backing this week from your side?
Well, I'll start with sacking. I'm actually going to sack Reece Shaw. I was very keen on Reece. I thought a bit of that dash off half back, you know, Johnny Longmire might free him up to go for it, but the great man got only 21 points. Now, I know you've raised the point with me that he played a tagging role.
He did indeed.
But if that's a sign of things to come, gone. Reece Shaw, off you go, son. Now, I'm backing, though, Nathan Foley.
He had some issues last week.
He did. Nathan Foley only got 24 points, but he had to be subbed off because, as Damien Hardwick put it, he had a burning ring of fire.
That he did, so very unfortunate for Nathan Foley. I agree. Probably stick with him for another week. For me, sacking, generally you don't chop someone in round 1, that's the way it goes, but Chris Yarran, he had us all excited with about an average of 80 in the pre-season competition, scored a measly 21, can't handle a tag.
No good.
Probably will give him another week if you do have him, but time to go for me. Backing, Matthew Boyd had a disappointing week last week, only 85 points, but he scores pretty well against the Brisbane Lions with an average of 106, so I'm backing him to have a cracker this week.
No, that's a fair call, Nat, because to be honest, the Doggies, they got stung last week.
They did.
They'll be out for revenge this week, and they're playing the Lions, and let's be honest, that could be a 100-pointer.
All over, all over. All right, before we go, let's recap what our Dream Teamers this year are playing for. Of course, it's the magnificent Toyota FJ Cruiser that you can see here, along with $500 cash prizes for the highest weekly score. The Dream Team coach who achieves the top weekly round score over the entire season will also win the bonus cash prize of $2,000 at the end of the year. And that's what we're playing for, so good luck to you. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. Love a big motor vehicle. Looks like a beauty.
We all do. And of course, we'll be back again the same time next Thursday night to bring you all the latest Dream Team news. Thanks for joining us. And until then, happy dream teaming.